Hello, dear students. In the last class, we have studied about Shakespeare's sonnet, They That Have Power to Hurt and Will Do None, sonnet number 94. And today, in this video class, we will be dealing with his one more sonnet by William Shakespeare. That is session number 25. And the title of this sonnet is Shall I Compare Thee? Sonnet number 18. And in the previous class, we have dealt the sonnet in a detailed manner. And once again, let us have a recap of it. If you have a question like what is a sonnet, so the answer is going to be simple. Sonnet comes from actually an Italian word, sonetto, means little song. And as you all know, sonnet is a poem which consists of 14 lines. And yesterday we have seen, in the previous class we have seen types of sonnets. And as this is a Shakespearean sonnet, let me once again just have a recap of it. Shakespearean sonnets, as usual, have 14 lines. It has 3 quatrains and a rhyming couplet. A quatrain consists of 4 lines, so 3 quatrains means 4 3 is 12 lines, and at the end of a Shakespearean sonnet, you will have a rhyming couplet. Mean the last 2 lines of Shakespearean sonnet is called as a couplet. So 3 quatrains and a couplet will make 14 lines. And the rhyme scheme of a Shakespearean sonnet it will be AB, AB, CD, CD, EF, EF, and GG. And you have to remember one more thing. The Shakespearean sonnet is also called as English sonnet, and this we have studied in the previous class. And this William Shakespeare is often called England's national poet and nicknamed the Bard of Avon. His father's name was John Shakespeare and mother's name was Mary Arden. William Shakespeare married Anne Hathaway at the age of 18 in 1582. Anne Hathaway was 8 years older than Shakespeare. And this couple, William Shakespeare and Anne Hathaway, had 3 children. First one is Susanna Hall and the twins Hamnet and Judith. William Shakespeare, as already we have seen in the previous class, he has written 37 dramas, 154 sonnets, and 2 long poems. And these 37 dramas have variety in them. It means there are historical plays, there are comedies, there are tragedies, there are tragic comedies, comic tragedies. And he has written the greatest tragedies like Hamlet, Julius Caesar, and Macbeth, so on. And he has written a series of sonnets, 154 sonnets, and mainly the theme of these sonnets is love and friendship. And from sonnet number 1 to 126, he has written about his friend, and it is believed to be Earl of Southampton. And sonnet number 127 to sonnet number 154, they are written about Dark Lady, also called as actually Black Beauty. And this sonnet which we are dealing today is sonnet number 18, a very famous one, very popular one, written by William Shakespeare. And the content of this sonnet number 18 is, we have the theme of beauty, we have the theme of immortality, we have the theme of true love in this sonnet number 18. And this is your sonnet, Shall I Compare Thee, sonnet number 18. Now, I will read the poem, you just have to follow me. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer sleeps hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrained. But the eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. And here, dear students, you can observe actually the rhyme scheme in a Shakespearean sonnet, how it appears. And see, in the first line, shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Day, if you take it as A, and you have the same kind of rhyming word in the third line, may. Day, may. So if it is quoted as A, and may also as A, and here in the second line, thou art more lovely and more temperate. So this last word in the second line is temperate, and in the same way the last word in the line 4 is date. So date and temperate, they are so rhyming. So if day and may are AA, temperate and date are BB. So this is how a Shakespearean sonnet will have a rhyme scheme. As I said earlier, this is A, B, A, B. And if you come to line 5, the last word of line 5 is shines. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines. So this shines, that rhymes actually with the line 7, the last word declines. Shines and declines. If we mark it this as C, and this declines, that also becomes C. Shines, declines, this and this are C, and this word, the last word of this line, and often is his gold complexion dim. This dim and this last word in this line, untrimmed. So this and this will rhyme. Dimmed, untrimmed. So if we mark this shine and declines as shines and declines as CC, dimmed, untrimmed, that can be marked as DD. So now the rhyme scheme will be AB, AB, CD, CD. So if we go to the next line, so the last word of this line, that is fade. And as you can see here, this word fade, that rhymes with this last word of this line, shade. Fade, shade, fade, shade. So if we mark this fade as E, so we can mark this shade as also E, E, E. And in between, in this line, the last word is ovest. Nor lose possession of that fair thou ovest. So this ovest, that actually rhymes with this 10th line, the last word of the 10th line, that is, 12th line, that is growest. Ovest, growest. So if we mark this fade as E, then this last word shade is also E, E, E. So ovest, growest. So F, F. So now the rhyme scheme will be A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F. And the last two lines of a Shakespearean sonnet, as you already know, this is called as a couplet. So couple means pair. Okay, two lines of a Shakespearean sonnet is called as couplet. So here in the couplet, in the 13th line, we can see there's a last word called as C. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see. And the last word of the 14th line is thee. So C and thee, they rhyme. So that's why we have been marked here as G, G, C, D, C. If it is G, D is also G. So the next immediate word in the next line is same rhyming word. So we have marked it as GG. So now the rhyme scheme will be AB, AB, CD, CD, EF, EF, and here GG. So I hope you are able to understand the rhyme scheme of Shakespearean sonnet, and this is how almost all, of course, sonnets of Shakespeare appear. And you have seen, shall I compare thee to a summer's day? The first line of this sonnet begins with a question mark. See, you can see a question mark here. So there's a question mark. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? So here there's a question mark. Shall I compare? So the first line of the sonnet that starts with a question mark. Thou art lovely and more temperate. So here he says his friend, he is more lovely and more temperate. Temperate means actually moderate. So here we can take it as actually very balanced. So in the second line of the sonnet, Shakespeare, he creates a metaphor between summer and his beloved. He makes a comparison. You are more lovely and more temperate. So you are, it's old English. You are more lovely. So more, it's actually comparative degree. Much, more, most, right? So it's a comparison. When you compare two things, you have to use a comparative degree. So thou art more lovely, you are more lovely, you are more temperate. So he is addressing his friend, because already we have seen sonnet number 1 to 126, they are addressed to his friend Earl of Southampton. So without any doubt, we can say that he is addressing his friend, and he says, and he compares his friend to a summer's day, because in an English country, a summer's day is believed to be beautiful, because they are all cold climatic countries. So thou art more lovely and more temperate. When you are compared to a summer's day, you are more lovely and more temperate. You are very moderate. You are not so hot, scorching, like you are not something like a scorching sun. Okay, you are not even cold even. So you have that moderation. You are actually very temperate. You are more lovely compared to a summer's day. And in the third line, rough winds do shake the darling buds of May. So here, these darling buds that symbolize beauty. Okay, so bud that symbolizes beauty here. And he even speaks about a month called as May, April, May, isn't it? So during Shakespearean time, his age, according to the calendar they followed, May was actually a summer month. Okay, during Shakespeare time, May was a summer month, and beauty is not everlasting. Because he says in the fourth line, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. So it's something like a lease, and this summer season cannot stay for a long time. It stays actually for a short time. So it's something like actually a lease for a short time. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines. So here this poet, he compares actually eye of heaven, sun. Okay, so sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines. Actually the sun, he shines too hot. As I said you earlier, the scorching sun, and often is his gold complexion dim. And because of actually the cloud, sometimes the gold complexion which comes out actually from a sun, that's going to be dim, because actually clouds, they cover it. So all these kind of things are there, whereas you are not like that. See, sometimes the sun is going to be scorching, sometimes actually it's golden complexion that's going to be covered by the clouds, and it's going to be dim, whereas you are not like that. You are always balanced. Okay, you are always balanced, you are more temperate, you are more lovely. And every fair from fair sometime declines. See, definitely, as you have experienced, as you have seen, and as everybody knows, change is the law of nature. So it's a natural course. Okay, it now happens. Nobody can withstand it. Okay, and fair youth cannot always be fair enough. Okay, so it keeps on changing. So every fair from fair sometimes declines. A fair person cannot be always, a beautiful person cannot always be beautiful. So it changes, and that might happen by chance, by accident, by chance. Okay, it might happen, or nature's changing course undreamed. It's a natural process, it happens. Okay, as I said earlier, it changes the law of nature. Nature changes everything. Okay, you will get gray hairs, you will get wrinkles on your skin. So all this happens. But when you are actually youngster, when you are in your youth, so you will have a hue, you will have a glow on your face, you will have fair complexion. That is not possible. Okay, that keeps on changing. It's the nature's changing course. But the eternal summer shall not fade. See, but your eternal means here in this poem, forever, permanent, as you say. Okay, everlasting. But the eternal summer shall not fade. But your eternal summer shall not fade. It never fades. He quotes actually the reason. See, the poem in the first 8 lines. Okay, it's something different. And in the 9th line of the poem, it takes a turn, because here you can see the first word of actually this 9th line, that is but. And as you all know, when do we use a word like but? When we want to make actually a contrasting statement, then only we will make use of actually our use of this word but. Okay, so I would have scored 80 marks, but my health did not permit. It means what? The first sentence, if it is positive, the second sentence which we construct, after but, so that becomes negative. It means but is a word which is used to make an opposite statement to what we have said earlier. Okay, so here in the same way, so this poem, the first 8 lines are something different, and here in the 9th line, because of using this word but, it takes a sudden turn. So this summer, it's all changing, because sometimes too hot the eye of heaven shines, sometimes often is gold complexion dim, okay, and fair sometimes declines by chance or nature's changing course. See, all this, there are variations over there, but the eternal summer shall not fade. But your eternal summer, eternal means, as I said earlier, permanent. Oh, that never fades. See, the kind of, these words are possible only when you have actually a strong bonding, when you have such a kind of loyalty to your friend. So then only you can use these kind of words. Okay, but the eternal summer shall not fade. Now lose possession of that fair thou owest. You own, okay, you own that fairness. You are so fair, you are so handsome, you are so beautiful. You will never lose that possession. You possess that fairness in you, and you will never lose. And he quotes the reason next why he cannot lose that fairness. Nor shall death drag though one rest in his shade. And definitely, death even cannot claim you. Okay, death cannot claim you. See, it's very amazing. Nobody is an exception. From time and death isn't it? So nobody can escape. But here he says, and he will quote how he escapes, how actually death cannot claim him. When in eternal lines to time thou growest. And eternal lines, it's a metaphor for poetry. Eternal lines, here verse. So lines, eternal lines, permanent. So eternal lines to time thou growest. So you will stay forever. You will never lose the possession of your fairness. Your eternal summer shall not fade, and death cannot claim you, because you will stay in these verses, in this poem. Eternal lines is a metaphor for poetry to time thou growest. But you keep on growing. You growest. And in the last couplet, so long as men can breathe or eyes can see, as long as human beings breathe on this earth, as long as eyes can see, till then, you will live. You will be alive. Okay, so long lives this, and this gives life to this. So long lives this. This and this. This means here he is again referring to this means that is to eternal lines. Eternal lines means poetry. As I said, you metaphor for poetry. This so long lives this mean this eternal. See, we human beings are not permanent, but art is permanent. So something which is in the form of a poetry, definitely it will live forever. As I have said you in the previous class, see, even after 450 years of Shakespeare's death, we are studying actually Shakespeare's sonnets, Shakespeare's dramas, Shakespeare's poems. See, now Shakespeare is not alive, but his poems, his dramas, okay, what he created, that is alive. That will be alive until we have sun in the sky, until the last day on this earth, until the doomsday, as you say. So the permanency. So that is what he is speaking about. As we have seen, the sonnet begins with a question, creates a metaphor between summer and its beloved in the second line, and you have seen the darling bird that symbolizes beauty, and there's a reference to a month called May. It was actually a summer month during this time, and according to the calendar what they followed then, beauty of summer is not everlasting. Shakespeare in this poem is admiring his friend. His beauty will never fade because he is putting into verse. This is what we see now. He compares him to a summer's day. He says he is much more beautiful than summer, more moderate, more temperate, more lovely, right? Death will not be able to claim him. Eternal lines, as we have seen, that's a metaphor for poetry. As long as people are alive and people can read this poem will live. Permanency. Shakespeare's beloved has been eternalized forever within the lines of this poem. So eternity, eternalized forever. So this is the greatness of the poem, where those lines in the poem, that makes Shakespeare's beloved eternalized. I hope you have understood the poem, and thank you very much for watching. Thank you.